Hey everybody, it's Colette Baron-Reid. Welcome to this week's Oracle Card Guidance and Lesson, and I am using Wisdom of Avalon. The Wisdom of Avalon was the very first deck that I ever created, and super proud of it, and I'm going to be doing the Celtic Cross with this particular deck, and if you want to know more about my decks, you can go to my website and check them out, but here we go today. So this is going to tell us a story. So we're predicting the weather basically, and then we're prescribing. So it is a predictive reading, but it's really about the prescription of what to do with this energy that we're going to be bumping up against this week or helping us move forward. We don't know yet until we do the reading. So let's start with the first card, which is our anchor card, and it's joy. So regardless of what goes on in the world, regardless of where we are, we can find joy. Joy is not dependent on whether the outer world is stable or settled or certain or the way we want it to be. Joy is something that is part of who we are as spiritual beings having a human experience. We can find joy in the smallest things. So that's our number one priority this week is joy. Now, the second card, the next card that we pull is the obstacle. So it will show us what the nature of our obstacle is or what can help us over an obstacle. And this card is truth. So this is great. So when the truth card comes, that means that what helps us over our obstacle is to just be transparent and tell the truth. What creates an obstacle is the lack of truth. Now, the lack of truth can be ignorance too. So it can be something that we don't know, or it could be something that we're in denial about. So that's the possible obstacle to our joy. And then the truth is, this is what it is. It's like the radical acceptance of things as they are. That could also be a way that we can move beyond an obstacle. Now let's find out more. Let's take a look at the foundation. So the foundation card tells us about, where we are stable and what we're standing on. The B. Okay, so the B is luck, industry, sweet victory. So we know that it's interesting that joy and the B come together. So this is about the industrious quality of getting to work, pulling up your sleeves and getting to work. And it's how we make our own luck. So it isn't just us, right? So there's a natural quality between us and our partnership with spirit. And so it's saying if that we are in truth and if we stay in our truth and not being truth about the outer world, it's more about internal truth, and we get to work and this is our foundation, we feel joy. It also reminds us that no matter what goes on external to us, we can find joy in the smallest things that we do, right? If we act in gratitude. So that's also part of this. So now let's take a look at what lesson we are bringing with us that we've already learned. And that's love. Okay, so I love that it's love. I think that it's a beautiful thing that we realize that the only thing that brings us unity, the only thing that brings us joy, the only thing that is our real truth is love. That the way that we can heal this world that we're in is treating the world with love. That includes our environment, each other, ourselves. So, this is a beautiful thing that we already know this. This is already baked into us as human beings. We just forget that. And that's probably the denial of these things. So joy, the opportunity that comes from, we make our own way, and then love being the crux of all things. Now, what's the highest we can attain at the moment? Discernment. So the High Priestess is the card that crowns us right now, and that means that really from the higher view, we need to be discerning about our choices, what the energy that we allow ourselves to be impacted by. It's also prophetic vision. So it's holding the vision for the life that you desire in the eye of the hurricane. Interesting, obviously there's been lots of hurricanes, but that sense of in the eye of any storm, be it emotional storm or be it the actual something that could happen to create chaos in the outer world or that there is chaos. So this is really about trusting your own vision of joy, of that your hard work will pay off, that love is the answer, that joy is in in your being, and that rigorous honesty that is needed in order to continue to take steps forward, and knowing where your boundaries are, because that's also it. Now, this is interesting. That's around the corner. It's burden. So when you see burden with the high priestess, this is about discernment around what burden. Is this yours? It's a warning not to carry someone else's burden where you might be not helping them. So it's really important to carry the burden of someone else who genuinely needs help, and that you can be there for that person or persons. But it's also a warning. This is about the discernment about not doing other people's work for them, to realize that you have to do what's yours to do, and to have that responsibility of your own, putting the oxygen mask on first, and realizing that you must not take on the burden of someone else when you're actually not letting them do their own work, so they won't learn, right? So that's also part of this. And we also have a responsibility to our creativity. So the next card is the Fire Fairy. So the Fire Fairy is all about creativity. It's about optimism. It's about our co-creative relationship with our higher power. It's also about, so here's the responsibility to keep our channels clean so that spirit can work through us in service to the rest of us. So that's actually quite beautiful, that this burden is really about a responsibility and what we are willing to take on, as long as it's a healthy choice. So the next card after this, I'm going to take the next 3 cards out and then I'll go through them. The next card is the Hawk. Then we have communication, which is directly related to the Hawk. And then we have the Bard, which is about the past. So let's tell this story that's going to come up for us. So again, very creative, a lot of energy this week, and a lot of it's quite positive. Like, in spite of anything, that we can really use this catalyst for good this week, and it really shows that the opportunity is there for us to make a difference. You are going to get the right message. So this is about trusting your intuition and trusting also omens, signs, symbols that come to us through our higher powers that show up in the natural world or show up in conversations with other people. We get exactly what we need to take the next step. This is a very interesting, kind of a placement, because communication, this is about communicating with spirit, and this is about communicating with each other. So when we place our relationship with our higher power as our primary relationship, we then can communicate better with others too. So first and foremost, communicate with the divine, have that conscious contact, and then realize, like, okay, how can this improve the way in which I communicate with my community, right, and with the people I love. The Bard is interesting because it reminds us of the past. So we're going to be faced with a few stories that we have told and others have told, and that we know about history, where history is repeating itself, but it's repeating itself in order for it to be healed, for it to be reckoned with, for it to get a different outcome. So this week we're going to be seeing those things, seeing history repeat itself, and realizing that, wait, this time we did take a step in a different direction. This is really about positive movement around manageable change, to be quite honest. It looks like a manageable changes this week, which looks pretty good. Anyway, so this is Wisdom, the Wisdom of Avalon, my very first deck. I have lots of other decks. I think I have 14, or I can't remember now. I think there's 2 more coming, so there's got to be 14 or more. If you want to know more about my decks, you're going to want to go to my website, ColetteBaron-Reid.com. Is there a / No, just ColetteBaron-Reid.com. Go to my store, check them out. Each deck is different, but they're all mine. Anyway, take care. Thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Like my channel if you want to subscribe to it. That'd be good. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me a message. I love to read them. And check out ColetteBaron-Reid.com and see all the different oracle card decks that I have. Take care. Bye.